Okay, hi there. We are going to take a look at how you would solve a state in Cerebral, how you build your state, and how you handle changes in your state and display that state in the UI. And I have set up the boilerplate demo here, and I have expanded it a little bit. So you can still add stuff here, but every other item added to the list will have an is awesome state, and it's either true or false. And as I said, it's every other item. Okay, so what we're going to do now is use this checkbox to only see the awesome items in the list. And as you can see, our Cerebral already handles this state. So we have a show only awesome state inside the Cerebral, which is toggled when we click this checkbox. So let's just quickly look at that now. In the Cerebral, we have our input value, which is the input. We have our show only awesome state, which is the checkbox, and we have the list, which is the list. So what you might say now is, okay, if we want to filter this list, why don't do that in the component? And yeah, let's try that first. I go into the app, and this is where we build up our list. So I'm just going to put in a filter here, and we get the item, and let's pass in the this context. Okay, so we have our filter here, and as we can see at the top of this component, we have access to input value, list, and show only awesome. So let us check if this props show only awesome is true. We are only going to return the items that is awesome. If not, we are going to return actually any item. So let us just return true there. Okay, so if I save this now and we take a look at our list, you saw it kept the state from the previous reload, and we can see that it already filters. So I can click this checkbox now, and you see it does the filtering. Now, this is a typical thing you would do like in Angular and other frameworks, but there's a big problem with this. And the problem is that now this filter logic is inside the component, and it's only this component that knows about this filtering. So if any other component would point to the list, they would not have the filter applied. And that's a really bad thing, because now you have to tell this one component has to tell the other component about the filtering and stuff like that, and it just breaks down very quickly. So what we want to do is move all this kind of state logic and state handling into the Cerebral, because that makes everything available to anyone. So let us do that now. Let's just cut this filter function because we're going to reuse it, and remove the filter there and move into the Cerebral. Okay, so what we're going to do now is change this list. Instead of it being an array, it's going to be a function. And this function will return a description of how this state is going to behave. And the first property we insert here is initial state. And the initial state is the array. So it's going to be an array still. But we're also going to add some lookup state here. And lookup state will be show only awesome. This means that whenever something changes in the list or anything changes on the show only awesome state, it will run this get method, which will map the output of this state. So you still treat this as a normal state, but the output will be different based on what we return in this get method. So the first argument is Cerebral, the second is the values on the lookup state, and we have our items. So again, we are going to filter our items, and we have our function here. But instead of saying this.props show only Awesome, we are going to point to our lookup state. Like that. Okay, so when I say that now, we move back, and I can still do this checkbox, but now it is kind of like global for your application. Not global in a bad sense, but in a good sense. Any component now using our list state will now get this filtered version of it. And that's a really, really good thing.